Hi everyone, welcome to this updated video tonight. So we've got newly formed tropical storm Ernesto, which is closing in on the Lesser Antilles. So here on the satellite imagery, we can see lots of showers and thunderstorms moving to the Caribbean associated with the newly formed storm. And there's been some rain and even those thunderstorms in parts of the Lesser Antilles. And we're going to be looking at the forecast for the system. We've got lots of tropical storm warnings in effect. So those conditions are imminent for the northeastern Caribbean islands. Elsewhere though, for Central America, Northern South America, it's active as forecast this morning, even in some parts of Cuba. Lots of thunderstorms earlier in a few spots in Hispaniola and also Jamaica. Some areas received some heavy downpours earlier. But the main talk of this video is going to be the latest for Ernesto. So here we are taking a look at the cone forecast from the National Hurricane Center, depicting the potential track of the system as well as the expected intensity at different time periods here. So we can see that it is currently a tropical storm with maximum sustained winds up to 40 miles per hour. So it's a tropical storm a little bit sooner than expected because it wasn't expected to achieve that status until tomorrow evening. So a little bit ahead of schedule right here. But it is moving to the west at a quick 28 mile per hour pace, so it's moving quite quickly. However, as it is going to be coming in and making that curve, it may slow down a bit, and we can see all those blue highlights indicating where we have those tropical storm warnings in effect. So a tropical storm warning is in effect for St. Kitts and Nevis, Montserrat, Antigua, Barbuda, Anguilla, Guadeloupe, St. Martin, St. Bartholomew, the British and U.S. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, as well as Vieques and Culebra. So that means tropical storm conditions are imminent. So for the Leeward Islands, it's going to be through the rest of tonight and headed throughout much of tomorrow as well, and then going into late tomorrow and Wednesday for the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, as well as Vieques and Culebra. Down the road, as we head to the weekend, we're seeing an H there indicating hurricane status, so the system could be just shy of a major hurricane, or I wouldn't even be surprised if it manages to reach major hurricane status before passing over or close to Bermuda. So a little shift in the track can make a huge difference in terms of impacts for Bermuda. So we'll see how that goes later this week. And we're about to see some changes in the track here, especially beyond 3 days. So we tend to see a lot of changes, the track shifting around a bit because there are always those adjustments being made because these are forecasts that we're talking about. But again, a shift can make a big difference. But in terms of the impacts right now, again, it is a pretty extensive system. And I don't know if you guys saw my previous videos, but I had mentioned that the magnitude of impacts as the system nears the Caribbean will all be dependent on the proximity to the different islands as well as the size of it. And I mentioned that, hey, if we were talking about a more compact system, then it would be for those areas who are kind of more in the direct path of it. But since it is so expansive right now, it is not the most organized tropical storm. It's producing a very wide area of lots of showers and thunderstorms. We're finding that much of the Lesser Antilles are experiencing some level of inclement weather throughout today as the system makes its way in. So it's not a very compact, tiny tropical storm we're talking about. We're talking about an expansive system that isn't the most organized. But as it strengthens, as it takes advantage of the favorable environment it is in, it should strengthen over the coming days. Now here we're looking at this graphic here showing the probabilities of tropical storm force winds. So as we head up the scale in terms of the color, we see these increase in value. And there we can see those shadings of those mustards, brownish shadings, reds, oranges. So very high probability of those tropical storm force winds of at least 39 miles per hour or higher. So the system could be close enough, and it is if it is still disorganized enough, or expansive enough rather, then there could be those periods of heavy rain in parts of the Dominican Republic. The system is going to be making that curve up to the north due to the area of high pressure displacing further to the east. So that allows it the opportunity to curve up and out. And models have been pretty solid about that eventual trajectory for days now. And here we are looking at the track guidance. Again, these tracks are pretty tightly locked in the eventual track of the tropical storm expected to become a hurricane. And then as it relates to the intensity, we still got a few models here rather showing that, hey, we could see a major hurricane potentially become of this. But for the most part, the vast majority if not all, are expecting that it will eventually acquire hurricane status, at least a Cat 1, as it is going to be emerging back into the Atlantic waters. So that is the update, guys. We have a new tropical storm on our hands, the 5th tropical storm of the Atlantic hurricane season, and this will eventually become the 3rd hurricane of the season so far as well. So gonna be keeping you guys posted as per usual, and aside from Ernesto, there isn't anything else out there to be watched for development right now. A tropical wave is behind it, not expected to develop, and I mean overall they're over 60 on average during the hurricane season, so and we don't get 60 storms, so not all tropical waves develop. But either way, not a problem, at least right now. So that tropical wave out there not expected to be an issue, not marked for development or anything like that. So Ernesto is going to be the talk of the town for the coming days. Again, those dangerous impacts are already being unleashed in parts of the northeastern Caribbean and will spread to the Virgin Islands and PR as we're going to be heading into tomorrow and even Wednesday, and then later this week going to the weekend. Bermuda should be keeping a very close watch for potential hurricane impacts. But again, lots of uncertainty with regards to the track of the system at the time, but that's why I'm here to keep you posted. So that is it for this update video, guys, and also please listen to your local officials. Do not take any unnecessary risks, and I mean, if those evacuation orders are in effect, please heed the warnings so that you can protect yourself and even your loved ones as best as possible. So hopefully for all of those different areas under tropical storm warning, the preparations have been finalized by now so that everyone can safely ride out the storm here, because it's not so much the wind I'm concerned about, even though of course there will be those gusty winds that may cause some downed trees and damage to power lines, but also the water is the main issue with regards to the heavy rainfall. So please, guys, ensure that you heed the warnings and stay safe as best as possible. I'll be keeping you updated, and that's it for now. So I hope you found this video to be informative, but if you do have questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll get to you when I have the chance to do so, and remember to always be weatherwise.